getting jacked up and ready to play the football game, and this will be one of the biggest thrills of their life, certainly as they get ready to come out of that tunnel, be the biggest crowd they've played before, TV. It's going to be a very, very exciting time for each young man in that football game tonight.
The players have been spending 2 weeks in preparation. Rick Metzger has been following that for us. Rick, can they play? Are they ready to play?
I tell you, they're ready to play, Brian. You know, you've been out to those practices twice a day, early in the morning and late in the afternoon. Sometimes very hot. They're ready to play the football game, and I think we're going to look for a high-scoring affair from both squads.
Kickoff is about 25 minutes away. Between now and then, we'll be taking a look at the squad, some of the things that are planned for tonight, plus all the pageantry that's been going on in conjunction with this game. And we'll get into that right after we pause for this.
As Brian mentioned, you've been part of this game for 4 different occasions. Now they've got some rules a little different than when you were involved in it. Why don't you tell us about some of them?
Well, that's really true. In fact, this is the first year that they've had the rule where if a team is 10 points behind after they score, they can elect to receive the football. That could have a kind of a middling effect, or one that will keep the ball game closer if it were to get out of line. And I think it's a ball game that certainly could work out that way.
What kind of effect, Mouse, will that have on a team? Say, if you have a good offensive rush, you get a couple touchdowns ahead, and then have to give the other team the football.
Well, I think that, you know, it can get momentum going for one team, and if you get a defense on the run, it could equalize it almost immediately. They could pop and get another one in, and so that it would have a very equaling effect on the ball game. There's a couple other rules, too. Number one, they have to have a definite line between the defensive line and the linebackers, and the linebackers cannot stunt. That really should have the effect of making a more offensive show, and certainly the kids shouldn't have as much indecision as who they're going to block and who they're going to take, and make for a better spectator-type game.
What kind of pressure does that put on the defense, though, Mouse, if they can't stunt?
Well, really, they got to play very, very sound, and it puts pressure on them. Although in this kind of a game, the kids are very, very quick kids, and by and large, it's not going to have a great effect. It does allow a kid not to get injured if he's on offense. I think it's a good rule. Another rule is that they cannot rush the punter on defense. And by the same token, they can rush if the ball hits the ground, then the punter is free. When they punt the ball, only the 2 outside men can go down and cover the ball until the ball is punted. And that's supposed to allow for a better return. The way the thing's set up, it should be fairly difficult to get a return. But by only rushing 2 down the field, they do have a chance, certainly, to get a good return.
What's your overall view of the rules? Are these a positive thing for this game?
I really think so. They've tried to make them things that are positive for the players, with the welfare of the kids in mind, and also for the welfare of the spectators. And I certainly think that that's true. That will make a better game.
Now let's go to the national anthem. also we'll be hearing a lot more from you up in the booth, and good luck up there.
Hey, okay, Ray.
Of course, as you all know, this game has been a lot of concentration for all the players involved on both sides. 2 weeks of two-a-day drills. We were there. Here's a look at how things began. Practice may not always make perfect, but it certainly puts one on the right trail. The South squad has gone over the lesson book twice a day for 2 weeks at Lewis and Clark College, revitalizing vacationing muscles and taking a refresher course in football technique. The hours of toil become days and then weeks, all for a 3-hour moment in the spotlight at Civic Stadium. Do you reach the point where practice loses its glitter? It's time to play the game.
We don't have that much time, and the kids, most of the time, the conditioning is good. It's a matter of timing and execution and getting to know one another, I think, and knowing what the other guy can do and what you can do. So we have fun at it. We're not beating them up too much.
If the South team has an edge in tonight's contest, it's in tradition. The North has won but one of the last 6 contests, a 10-0 victory last season. Halverson's crew has the size advantage going into the contest, and the two-a-day drills have been tailored to best take advantage of that factor. History has demonstrated that it's often the breaks that determine the game's final outcome. The missed snap, the misguided aerial, or any number of nightmares that Halverson and his crew have been working to eliminate. Assuming he is successful, what then will decide the outcome?
Of course, you gotta have talents, and you can never tell. You know, I haven't seen most of these guys play, and I know they can perform, but it's just a matter of who has the good days and is ready to go.
With the exception of last season, the South squad has proven to be the most prolific on offense. This year, the breakaway threats appear to be in the northern camp. Does that mean Halverson will stick to the running game in order to minimize the North's opportunities?
Oh, I think we'll do a little of each. We've got pretty good quarterbacks. They've had pretty good success with the pass. And let's say we'll try to get each kid to show what he can do, and so I think it'll end up about 50-50.
If you can follow that possibility to its conclusion, then this edition of the Shrine Classic may turn into a high-scoring affair for both sides. The practice pads and torn jerseys are finally to be replaced with the threads of the South All-Stars. It's time to meet the members of the North head-on. Just 13 miles away in northeast Portland, the North squad has been preparing for just that. The same hours, the same commitment, and most importantly, the same goal. The South is concerned about the North's quickness, and the feeling is justified. One look at the lineup, and containment becomes a complex objective. Coach Ron Linehan doesn't shy away from the obvious. He's pleased with the arsenal.
We have a lot of size, and we have a lot of quickness. You know, we're a pretty overall strong team as far as that's concerned. I think we're going to use our speed to our best benefit.
Calling the signals tonight will be Bill Gwynn, a hard-throwing quarterback from Beaverton, whose ability to pick apart the defense has been demonstrated through the 2-week practice session. If the airways present difficulties, Gwynn will have Larry Van Pelt and Rourke Lowe in the backfield to bail him out. It could be the most explosive backfield to have donned Shrine uniforms in years. But as is the case in most encounters, it will be the line of scrimmage that will make or break the opportunities, and the North has a formidable wall. Hillsboro's Fred Nordgren and Torrey Nash from Newburgh, to name just a couple. Winning is on the mind of every participant, but doing their best is the overriding thought. This game means more than just putting points on the board.
I take a lot of pride in being here and being able to work with these athletes that I've been reading about and been associated with this week. It's a lot of fun for me, and I'm trying to make it a fun experience for the kids.
So the stage is set. It's North versus South. In a game filled with tradition, both squads look to add another exciting battle to what has been an illustrious series. The groundwork has been laid. There's nothing left but to pull out the chessboard and make the moves.
South Shrine High School All-Star Football Game from Civic Stadium in Portland, Oregon. This KOIN TV Sports exclusive is brought to you in part by Datsun. Datsun is driven to give you a year-end deal on the greatest economy of all, Datsun quality. And hello, everybody. Brian Dries again, along with Portland State head coach Mouse Davis. We are high atop Civic Stadium where the teams have been introduced. and are preparing for the opening kickoff. And this is the 31st annual North-South Shrine Game. And Coach Davis, a quick look at what we can expect tonight from these two teams.
Well, it looks as though we can look an awful lot like the North is going to look like Sunset High School. They're going to run the veer offense, and part of their success will be their ability to run the dive, and they certainly have some great running backs. Van Pelt, Lowe are certainly explosive type kids. A quick pitch is going to be a big play for them. And on the other side of the ball, they feel like they have to take those away. From the South standpoint, they feel like to move the football, that their quarterback is going to be the key in throwing the short game. They're starting with Singler. He's certainly an outstanding athlete, and the other team feels like they have to start the short game. So there's no secrets going in by either team.
Now, the people here at Civic Stadium have already met the players that will be taking part. There are 30 on each team, a total of 60 of the state's top football players. Why don't you meet them right now? Let's first meet the 30 players that will represent the North All-Star squad. They have a four-man core of wide receivers. From Lake Ridge High School in Lake Oswego, an All-State player, Randy Martin. From Hood River High School, Greg Mosier. Sunset High School's Casey Christensen, and at 6'3", 190 from David Douglas, there's Ken Sloy. 10 players will serve as offensive and defensive backs for the North team this year. From the home of the Grizzlies in McMinnville, John Heiser. Canby's Gary Zahner. Randy Zimmerman of Jackson led the PIL in scoring last season, and that's the same league that Matt Hall of Grant plays in. Mike Smith of Park Rose was injured in practice and will not play. From Aloha, high school All-American Rourke Lowe. All-State running back from Sunset, Larry Van Pelt. From Forest Grove, Jeff Salee. And Lake Oswego's Eric Torkelson and George Veraldis of Sunset High School. 3 players will alternate at the tight end spot for the North. An all-city player at Benson High School, Mike Mackey. From Forest Grove High School, Don Vandenberg. And Mark Walsh of Sweet Home at 6'2", 195. And there are 11 players that will serve as linemen for the North team. Let's start with a first-team All-Stater from Lake Ridge High School, Kevin Auxier. From Gresham, there's John Modispatcher, 6'even", 195, an all-Metro player from Central Catholic, Jim Bradich, and Jefferson's Marvin Sanders. From Newburgh, Torrey Nash, an all-city player from Jackson High School in the PIL, Kent Dorsey. Mark Peterson, 6'2", 200 from Marshall. Fred Nordgren of Hillsboro is a state wrestling champion. And there's Dan Elliott from Sam Barlow. 6'4", 240 from Wilson High School, Mike Jolly. And Gary Rettler of Dallas, 6'4", 230. The North team boasts 2 quarterbacks this year. First, there's Andy Dick from the Dalles. He is 6'even", 175 pounds. And his counterpart, Bill Gwynn of Beaverton, 6'3", 195. The North team has 2 student managers, very important, especially during the 2 weeks of preparation. Dan Carr of Forest Grove and Dave Bond of Jackson. A 4-man coaching staff on the North is plotting to make it 2 straight wins for the team in this game. Tom Smythe of Lake Ridge High School. Larry Binkert works out at Forest Grove. From Jackson High School, Coach Jerry Lyons, and the head coach for the North team this year from Sunset High School, Ron Linehan. And now the 30 players from the South team. Let's start out with their 13-man group of linemen. As you can see, it's a big one. Twice All-League at South Salem High School, Jeff Long. Matt Lawrence was an All-State player for Medford High School. Scott Zelke comes to Civic Stadium from Hermiston. An All-State player from Pendleton, Mark Cox. 6'3", 220 from North Eugene, Scott Mills. Churchill's Eric Kruger. From Sprague High School, Mark Coates. And from North Bend High School in Coos Bay, John Drops. 5'11", 206 from Corvallis, Lynn Braun. Klamath Union's Frank Gannon. From Lebanon, 6 feet, 2 inches tall, 205, Bob Denherter. An All-State player from Marshfield, Dave Nugent, and his teammate at Marshfield, Darrell Sharp. 8 players will function as running and defensive backs for the South team. Let's start out with a pair of Pendleton Buckaroos. Amos Pond from Pendleton, and an all-conference player from Pendleton, Mark Temple. From Crater at 5'11", 165, Andy Cox. Crescent Valley's Dave Opine. From Medford, 6'4", 190, Lloyd Williamson. Churchill's Tom McGlasson. From Redmond High School, 5'9", 175, Tom Lawson. And Andy Vibora, Medford's All-State fullback and linebacker. 6 players on the South team will operate from the receiver position. Dwayne Levitt of Thurston High School. An All-Valley player from West Albany, Alan Linenberger. An All-District player from Churchill, Dean Lindstrom. From Crescent Valley and Corvallis, Steve Holsbury. McNary's Jeff Peterson. And Dean Rosenberg from Bend High School, 6', 165. 3 quarterbacks on the South team this year. First, from Ashland High School, Mark Dolidio. He's flanked by Stan Manley, a Sheldon first-team district player. And the All-State first-team quarterback from Medford, Ed Singler. 2 student managers for the South team. From Crescent Valley High School, Brent Ritchie. He has been aided by Churchill's Jerry Supert. The 4-man coaching staff of the South team carries a lot of high school experience. First, from Pendleton High School, Don Requa. Crescent Valley's Gary Ritchie. From Medford High School, one of the dean of Oregon coaches, Fred Spiegelberg. And the head coach for the South this year from Churchill, Floyd Halverson. You've met the teams, and we're ready to play football at Civic Stadium. The North has won the toss and has elected to receive. The South will kick off. Dwayne Levitt will kick it off for the South. Deep for the North, the deep man is Rourke Lowe, the high school All-American out of Aloha High School. The 2 up-backs, Larry Van Pelt from Sunset on the far side, and on the near side, number 30, or make that number 32, Larry Van Pelt on the near side, and on the far side, number 1, George Veraldis out of Sunset. Dwayne Levitt indicates that he's ready, and the 31st annual Shrine All-Star football game is about to get underway. And there it goes. It's taken by one of the up men, number 10, Casey Christensen. He tries to go to the outside and gets it out to about the 35-yard line, and that's where the North will put it in play. Quickly, Mouse Davis, what do you think we can expect early from this North team?
I really think that you can expect to see the dive and also the quick pitch early, because that's a real base part of their offense. They're a veer team, and that's going to be something that we're going to see very early.
Let's take a quick look at the starting offense for the North team. We have number 81 at split end is Greg Mosier. Don Vandenberg is the tight end. Casey Christensen, number 10, is the flanker. We'll pick up the rest of them as we have an opportunity. Bill Gwynn, the starting quarterback. He hands off to Van Pelt of Sunset, and he goes straight up the middle. Picks up about 4 yards. He's out to the 37-yard line, so it'll be about 2nd down and 8 or 7 for the North team. We're 1 play into the ball game. Bill Gwynn, as I mentioned, is the starting quarterback. He's out of Beaverton, wears number 17. The offensive line is Dorsey, Bradich, Sanders, Nash, and Peterson. We'll give you their schools as we go along through the broadcast. 2nd down, 6 yards to go. Game just underway here at Civic Stadium. Bill Gwynn's got Rourke Lowe and Larry Van Pelt split behind him. That's a pitch to Lowe. They try wide on the near side. Lowe gets 1 block, but nothing after that, and he's filled at about the 43-yard line.
There's the dive and the quick pitch, 1-2, and it looks as though the South team is attempting to squish down and may let the quarterback run the football. That may turn out to be key for the North team. They're trying to cut off the pitch man and trying to also cut off the dive back and the veer.
Now, so I know in talking to the South players and coaches, when they looked at that backfield of Van Pelt and Lowe, they figured they've got to go on the ground with it. Bill Gwynn, the quarterback from Beaverton, underneath the ball. His center is Mark Peterson. Mix up on the snap. Ball is loose. Everybody piles on. I think Gwynn's got it.
Big play, Brian. 3rd and 1, and they fumble it. They've had a little problem with that, and now certainly puts them into a punting situation.
So the North unsuccessful on their first series of downs. Ken Sloyd drops back to punt for the North team. Going deep for the South. It's taken by number 21. He spins out to his left. That's Stan Manley from Sheldon, a quarterback by trade in high school, fielding punts for the South team. And now we'll get our first look at the South on offense as Manley brought it out to about the 28-yard line. South receiver core starting lineup. 28 is Dean Rosenberg. Dean Lindstrom, the tight end, and the flanker, number 13, Jeff Peterson. Jeff Peterson out of McNary. Rosenberg comes from Bend High School, and the tight end, Dean Lindstrom, from Churchill. Their quarterback, the All-State first team, Ed Singler. Behind him, he's got Andy Cox, number 10, and number 35, Tom Lawson. And they try it straight up the middle.
That's just the old tailback blast play. You might have noted on their punt set that North is taking advantage of the rules. They have no one back blocking. They get them all spread out along the line of scrimmage, and that's probably the only time you'll see that's in a Shrine game. We'll see if the South does the same thing in a punting situation.
Gain of 3 yards on the play. It's 2nd and 7. The ball is on the South's 32-yard line. Singler brings him up to the line. go into the I formation. Lawson is the up back. They give it to the second man through. Hole is there momentarily, and we've got about a 7-yard gain. Tackle made on the play by the Norse, Gary Rettler out of Dallas. The offensive backfield, we have Ed Singler at quarterback. Number 10 running at halfback will be Andy Cox, and number 35, Tom Lawson, the fullback. You'll also see a lot of number 45, Andy Vabora from Medford at that fullback position as the game goes along. Third down, 1 to go. Let's see if the South can pick up where the North couldn't. Singler calling the plays. Second man through, gets the call, and should have the first down.
Good move by Temple on the play to get the first down. They had him stop behind line of scrimmage. He made excellent moves to make the first down.
Mark Temple, 5'10", 165 out of Pendleton, an all-conference player. He wears 29 in the South backfield. First and 10, ball now on the South 39-yard line. We've had our first down of the ball game. Singler sets underneath his center. Mark Coates from Sprague. Drops back, looks for a quick out. He's got a man out there. It's complete to Dean Rosenberg. He spins away from one man and is finally brought down inside the North territory at about the 44-yard line.
Just a little quick out to Rosenberg, and this is something that the South thought they had to do if they're going to score, is to get that short passing game going.
Here it is again, Mouse.
There's a quick out by Singler, throws it on the run. Rosenberg wide open, makes a good cut, and up the field for a first down plus.
Interesting that in an all-star game, Ed Singler, the quarterback from Medford, is calling the plays. They are not being sent in from the bench while he's in the ballgame. First and 10 on the North 45. From the I formation. Singler back again. Big rush and gets the ball off. It's picked up by, in the near flat, that's number 10, Andy Cox. He and Temple are rotating at the present time at the halfback spot.
Great pressure by the North that time, and certainly an excellent play by Casey Christensen filling up off the corner.
Matt Hall came in from his position on the North defense to put the pressure on Singler. Let's take a look at that defense. We've got Gary Zauner, Eric Torkelson, Gary Rettler, Mike Jolly, Fred Nordgren, and Dan Elliott. A loss of 3 on the play, 2nd and 13 at the North 48. Singler calls the signal. We have a man jump offside from the North. It looks like Nordgren at left guard, number 73. And let's wait and see for the signal. Was he drawn off? Nope. They're going to knock off 5 yards against the North to make it now 2nd down and 3. And, Mouse, that's one of the problems you have in an all-star game.
They looked like they had a slant on. I'm sure when they had a slant on, why Fred is thinking he is really going to get the jump. And just a little over-eager. Certainly you hate to take that out of a kid.
Mr. Nordgren, incidentally, will be playing football for Mouse Davis at Portland State this fall.
We think a lot of him.
2nd down and 8 now. For the South at the North 43-yard line. Handoff straight ahead goes to Tom Lawson. He bowls for a couple of yards. He's finally brought down on the play. Matt Hall, number 44 out of Grant High School, made the initial stop. Third down and 8. Definite passing situation, and it's not bad to have a quarterback like Ed Singler in there when you are faced with 3rd and long yardage. Correction, make that 3rd down and 6 now. The ball at the North 45. Singler out. The backs behind him drop into an I formation. Lawson is the up back. He goes through. Fake. Singler keeps. Tries to go around in. Takes a pitch. It's scooped up by Stan Manley. And he gets it back just about to the line of scrimmage. Matt Hall again put on great pressure on Singler as he tried to run the swing to the far side. Force that quick pitch. And so the South comes away empty-handed. 4th down 5. They'll have to punt it away.
The option broke down a bit. They had so much pressure on him. Singler was forced into a bad pitch. Manley made a good play to get the ball scooped up and not lose yardage.
Dave Opine drops back for the South team. He'll punt it right from the midfield stripe.
South also using a little bit of an unorthodox mindset.
Casey Christensen, the only man deep for the North. He takes the ball in the end zone. He's going to try and run it out. Now they blow it dead for a touchback. So the North will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20. 8 minutes and 23 seconds left to play in the first quarter. We are scoreless here at Civic Stadium. Mix-up of communications on the break and change of possession there. There have been 2 plays run while we were away. An incompleted pass by the North and a running play that netted 3 yards, so we pick it up 3rd and 7 for the North on their own 23. Same backfield for the North squad. Bill Gwynn with Larry Van Pelt and Rourke Lowe behind him. Lowe 23, Van Pelt 32. Gwynn is number 17. Gwynn looks inside, then he flips it over the middle. Overthrown out there, intended for Mark Walsh, the tight end. Defensive coverage provided on the play by Steve Holsbury of Crescent Valley.
Had a nice little hole there. The ball just a little bit overthrown, but certainly there was a possibility there for a big play.
North to punt it away. They'll kick it from about their 10-yard line. One man deep for the South, but the punt goes just about straight up in the air. We'll get no return on this. It's smothered there, and it's touched by one of the South players, and the North has come up claiming the ball, and yes, indeed, they will get it. Number 41 for the North team recovered the ball. That's Gary Zauner out of Canby. Amos Pond of Pendleton tried to field that ball. And Mouse, it's kind of mistake you can't get away with a lot. You should just let those bounce.
Certainly should have gotten away from that one. I'm sure no one feels worse than Amos about that. But the ball had bounced, and he just gets away from it. They're in good shape.
So we have our first big break of the ball game as the North gains about 30 yards on that play. They'll put it in play 1st and 10 at about their own 46-yard line. Bill Gwynn from Beaverton goes under his center, Mark Peterson, out of Marshall High School in PIL. Gwynn back to throw. Got a man across the middle, but it's a little bit behind him, intended for Greg Mosier of Hood River, the split end who goes 6 feet even, 178 pounds.
Pretty good coverage on the play. Really wasn't much of a hole to throw to that time, and Gwynn may have done the right thing by throwing the thing over the top.
7 minutes, 2 seconds left to play in the first quarter. No score. 2nd and 10 for the North from their own 47-yard line. The split backfield of Van Pelt and Lowe. Gwynn goes down. Straight ahead to Van Pelt. Little space for a while, but number 45, Andy Vabor, the All-State linebacker out of Medford, came in to stop it before Van Pelt could really get to daylight. It's about a 2-yard gain.
Both Vabor and Williamson reacted very well on the play. See the draw. Here comes Van Pelt moving up. Quick little cut. Here comes Vabor in from the outside, and there's Williamson filling up.
3rd down, 8. Ball on the 49-yard line.
Opine filled up instead of Williamson.
Split backfield. Everybody's in tight. We got some movement in the North line. I think one of the linemen started a little quick.
North's had a little problem with the snap count for the past 2 weeks and fumbling from quarterback center exchange.
That'll be 5 yards if the South team elects to take it, and they do. So we'll go 3rd and 13 from about the 44-yard line. 6:25 to play in the first quarter. Scoreless. Brian Drees and Coach Mouse Davis of Portland State University at Civic Stadium for the 31st annual Shrine All-Star football game. Win the quarterback. Straight drop back. He's got 3 men out on the pattern. Pass is almost caught. Knocked down by a fine defensive play just at the last moment by Stan Manley of Sheldon. Intended for Greg Mosier, the split end.
You may not be able to see this, but Manley is locked on all the way, and he covers Mosier very, very tightly. Play him just tight man, knocks the ball down. It's a good defensive play. Manley, pretty quick kid.
So the North has to punt. It's taken at about the South 25-yard line. Not much of a return by Tom McGlasson as we had good coverage by the North. Again, Mouse, we might quickly delineate the punt coverage or punt blocking rule.
You can see that there certainly is a difference. The rule is that you cannot rush the punter, and only the outside 2 people can rush down the field to cover the punt until the ball is punted. Both teams are using an abnormal punt set. They have them all spread across the field. It's probably the way to go in this ball game.
So now the South back in business at their own 25-yard line. 1st down, 10 to go. Ed Singler out of Medford, the quarterback. I formation behind him. Tom Lawson is his fullback. There's a quick flip out on the near side. It's complete. Not much of a gain, though, as the pass was completed from Singler to Dean Rosenberg out of Bend. Defensive coverage by Casey Christensen from Sunset High School.
Very well thrown by Singler. He threw it on the run, hit the kid right in the money.
Picked up 5 yards out on the near hash mark, so it'll be 2nd and 5, dead on the 30-yard line. Singler, incidentally, is now 3 for 3 passing for the South team. Again, the South drops into the I formation. Andy Cox behind Tom Lawson. There's the give to Cox. He spins free, gets about 3 yards. He's finally brought down at about the 36-yard line by number 41 for the North team, Gary Zauner out of Canby.
You note that each time the South team is shifting, one reason that they're shifting is they had split backs in so that they could defense that for the North team. They don't run an awful lot from the split backs, but they thought it would be more effective for them in practice for the 2-week period.
House Davis, incidentally, is getting a little free scouting tonight. A total of 9 ball players in this game will be playing at Portland State this fall. Ed Singler to call the signals for the South. There's the give again to Andy Cox. Nice hole on the left side. Good blocking by the left side of the South line. And that'll be a first down for the South at the North, or at the South 38-yard line.
You can watch, you can't watch the tackles block. Scott Mills did an excellent job on the left side of crushing that tackle inside. Cox ran the ball very well and into the secondary. Very, very nice block by Scott Mills.
Casey Christensen, the defensive play for the North. 1st and 10 now on the 38-yard line for the South. I formation. Singler straight back, looks out to his left. There's the pass, and it's caught. Diving catch, very nicely handled by Jeff Peterson of McNary. Nope, now they rule it was incomplete, that he trapped it.
Looked like a great catch. I tell you, the swing man was wide open on the play, going outside. It looked like he caught it from here. I'd like to see a replay on that, right?
Fans in the stadium that came up here to cheer for the South certainly don't like the call, but it'll do no good. 2nd and 10, ball on the 38. 3 minutes, 57 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Still scoreless, North-South, 31st Annual Shrine All-Star Game. Ed Singler, the All-State quarterback, and quite a basketball player also at Medford High School, running the show right now for the South. This time the backs remain split behind him. Singler on a keeper, goes wide, gets outside, and he may have gotten the first down yardage. I think he did.
I'm sure he did, and that's just a mix-up. That's what a good athlete at quarterback can do for you. He misses the handoff. Here, he misses the handoff right there, so he just turns it into a heck of a play. That's just an athlete running outside for a first down. Very good play by Singler.
Randy Martin of Lake Ridge made the defensive play for the North team. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the South. Again, about 3 minutes, 49 seconds left to play in the first quarter. We are scoreless at Civic Stadium. We'll be back right after this. Ball on their own 49-yard line after that fine scrambling play by their quarterback, Ed Singler. So once again, the South will try to penetrate into North territory. They've been the only ones to cross the 50-yard line tonight at this point in the first quarter. Singler has his backs dropped to the I formation. Tom Lawson right behind him. The give, though, goes to Mark Temple. He splits off the left side of the line for about 4 yards. Rick Metzger has been working the sideline for us, and throughout the game we'll be going down to check in with Rick, and he's got one of the South coaching staff with him now.
We're with Coach Ritchie from Crescent Valley, and Coach, you're no stranger to wide open offense, and right now it looks like the South team has provided a more diversified attack.
Yeah, I think right now Ed is doing a good job. He's calling his own game right now, and he's giving a good balance. And of course, we're catching the ball here 2 or 3 times. I think the biggest problem right now, though, it seems like perhaps the referees are having a little more trouble communicating or working together than the kids on both teams are. But we get a couple breaks going here. I think the kids are finally starting to get to the point where they're feeling, knowing what they have to do now, and I think we're going to be all right.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
You bet.
You saw a completed pass from Singler to Mark Temple. We'll take another look at it.
You notice that they just let the end go off the corner. Singler again made a good play. Temple made a nice catch, and Randy Martin came up and filled very, very well. Made a good play. They turned what looked like a loss into about a 3-yard gain. Good play by both Temple and Singler.
Mark Temple out of Pendleton will be playing football at Southern Oregon State College. So 3rd and 6 now. Ball on the 47-yard line. Singler straight back. He's got 2 men out on a pattern. He goes wide. The receiver falls down with a little bit of contact. No call, though. Intended for Dwayne Levitt out of the split end position. So once again, the South will have to kick the ball away. So we're coming up on the 2:20 mark left to play in the first quarter. Still no score here at Civic Stadium.
That was basically just a one-man pattern. You don't have anything to go to if a kid falls down.
Dave Opine, the punter for the South team, he drops back. Dave Opine from Crescent Valley, 5'11", 168. Strong safety on defense, and he also does the punting. Gets his foot into it pretty well. It's taken by Casey Christensen of the North at about the 5-yard line. Gets away from one man, but gets out to about the 11-yard line. So the North will take over, first down and 10 at their own 11-yard line. 2 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Still no score at Civic Stadium. Up first and 10 on their 11-yard line. Bill Gwynn of Beaverton still the quarterback. Same pair of running backs. Larry Van Pelt, number 32 from Sunset. Rourke Lowe, number 23 out of Aloha High School. Casey Christensen is wide to the right side of the line. We've got a pileup, and we may have a fumble. The South players say they've got the ball, and indeed they do. It looked like number 82, Dean Lindstrom of Churchill, came up with it. As Mouse said, looked like some kind of a mix-up between the back and the quarterback.
Yeah, now what's going to happen? They're running the dive, and Lowe thinks that Gwynn's going to keep it, and Gwynn thinks Lowe's going to keep it, and the ball ends up on the ground. That's one of the problems with running the option in a game such as this. The veer is very difficult to get timed, and so often they leave it on the grass when they're supposed to be going up the field.
So a big play for the South as they go into action. First and 10 on the North 12. Singler gets it to the second man through, Andy Cox. He springs to the outside. He's going to go in for 6.
Looked like a touchdown from the time he got the ball. Kid broke outside, made one move on one player, and in for the touchdown. Very fine run by Cox.
Andy Cox, 5'11", 165 out of Crater High School. He's headed to Oregon Tech.
Let's look at the corner. Again, Mills really blasts his man down to the inside. Great block by the left tackle. Cox beats Martin on a corner, and there's no one left.
Andy Cox now in 5 carries has 26 yards and 6 points. Point after attempt coming from the South. And Andy Cox will try to get all 7 of the South's points as he does the PAT, and it's right through the middle. So with 1:45 left to play in the first quarter, we have our first score, and the South on about a 10-yard, make that a 12-yard run by Andy Cox of Crater High School, puts them on the board with a 7-0 lead. All right, now, Mouse, how does that change, or does it change at all what the North might want to do?
It may open them up a little more. They may start going a little more quick pitch and not run quite so much of the veer game, or they may tell their quarterback, fake the dive, keep the ball, or pitch, which I thought they probably would do a little earlier because they've been really pinching on that dive from the first play that they've run it.
South team with that backfield of Van Pelt, an all-state fullback. Or the North team, correction, with the backfield of Van Pelt, the all-state fullback from Sunset, and Rourke Lowe from Aloha High School, has managed so far only a total of 14 yards on the ground. Van Pelt's got 9. Lowe, in the only time he's had the ball, has picked up 5 yards. Dwayne Levitt to kick it off now for the South after they have taken a 7-0 lead. Rourke Lowe is the deep back for the North team. And up in front of him is George Baraldis of Sunset on the far side, Larry Van Pelt of Sunset on the near side. The ball will go to Lowe. He tries to go far side. Gets some room, breaks through. He's got one man in front of him, and that man is able to bring him down at the 50-yard line.
A couple of very good blocks out in front that time. Marvin Sanders from Jefferson certainly made a good block. I tell you, get that low, and you kick him the ball that low, he may score.
Tom McGlasson out of Churchill was the one man that Lowe had to beat, and McGlasson got the better of him on that occasion. But it's still a big play for the North. They are able to start at midfield. Bill Gwynn with Lowe and Van Pelt split behind him. There's the pitch to Lowe. Good pursuit by the South defense as they cut off the corner. Had a man outside to contain, and the other 2 defenders were able to come up. Stan Manley made the tackle.
Here's a quick pitch that we thought they might run, and this may tell you something about their game plan change. Now, they may go a little more with the outside and then a little more with the pass. We'll see if that changes as we progress in the second quarter.
Yard gain on the play, 2nd down and 9. Lowe now 2 carries for a total of 6 yards. Bill Gwynn underneath his center, Mark Peterson. Split backfield. Gwynn fakes, then drops back. Incompleted pass. Stan Manley defending for the South. It was intended downfield for, I believe that was Greg Mosier. They're split in.
Manley basically is locked up on Moser man for man, and he's doing a very, very good job. Defensive secondary.
The North team, incidentally, is sitting the plays in from the bench, being called over there by their head coach, Ron Linehan from Sunset High School, and they're using the tight end position for the messages with Vandenberg, Mackey, and Walsh alternating with the plays. 3rd and 9, ball on the 50. Gwynn keeps it. Now it's out low. Bad pitch. And the South has got the ball again. Recovered out there by number 45, Andy Vibora, the All-Stater from Medford.
Now you can see Gwynn coming. He just no fake, really. Now they're coming out. He's going to make the pitch. Gets stuck pretty good. Pitches it back to Rourke low. I tell you, Williamson wants the football. Look at him dive for that ball. Excellent play by Williamson coming off the corner.
So now it's the South in business. 1st and 10 on the North 35-yard line. 25 seconds. Coming up now on 20 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Singler drops the ball. Pile up in the middle. The North says they've got it. And they do. Turnover for turnover, and the North takes over again. Recovered by number 74, Kevin Auksher of Lake Ridge High School.
Oh. This is the name of the game. You can't turn it over from the center to the quarterback. Both of them have had one each now, and that's usually something you can take care of in the first 2 weeks.
Clock is running down in the first quarter. I don't think we'll get a play in, and the teams will swap positions, and the North will go moving now. They will come out of the North, headed towards the South end zone. So that's the end of the first quarter here at Civic Stadium. After 1 quarter of play, the South leads the 31st annual Shrine All-Star football game. First quarter, 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line. Same backfield for the North that opened the ball game. Bill Gwynn, the quarterback from Beaverton. Rourke Lowe and Larry Van Pelt are the 2 backs. Casey Christensen comes out wide to the near side. The South in a 5-2. Gwynn back to throw. Drops it off. And it's complete out there for about an 8-yard gain. Complete to Craig Mosier out of Hood River.
They moved another defensive back over on Moser, and Moser breaks the sideline in front of him. The ball's thrown fairly well. I thought for a minute the defensive back might react fast enough to pick it off, and that would have been all over.
7-yard gain, 2nd and 3. Ball now on the 42-yard line. South on top, 7-0, just underway in the second quarter of play. Gwynn with a split backfield. Goes straight back. Looks downfield. He's getting pressure now. He's going to have to run out. He gets the ball away. It's complete to Mosier. And Gwynn really took a lick just after he unloaded that ball.
Very nice play by Gwynn. He really scrambled around, did an excellent job of throwing that. Here you can see him getting in trouble. Now he runs out of one man's grass, throwing on the run, unloads it to Moser, who just kind of worked his way back to the quarterback. And right after he threw it, Gwynn did take a lick.
That was Eric Kruger of Churchill who was coming in on Gwynn as he unloaded the ball. First down, 1st and 10, ball on the 48-yard line. Gwynn spins and gives it off to Van Pelt on a counter. Nice hole, and we've got about an 8-yard gain. Stop made by Lloyd Williamson. Excuse me, Mouse.
Looks as though they've totally changed. Here's a little quick trap up inside. You can see the guard pulling over. The defensive man runs himself by. Van Pelt hits the hole very nicely, and it looks as though the North has changed their plan now. They're going a little more trap, quick pitch outside, pass, rather than the option.
6 yards on the play, and the North has gotten into South territory. They have the ball on the South 46. 2nd down, 4 yards to go. Bill Gwynn with Van Pelt. And now Jeff Salee is in the backfield replacing Rourke Lowe. Gwynn is hit, ball is loose, Salee pounds on it, so the North will keep the ball. That hit was made by Lloyd Williamson out of Medford from his left side linebacking spot.
Here's again the option. They're running that outside veer and misses the pitch now. They're putting good pressure on it. Good job by Williamson once again. And the pitch man comes back and recovers it, Salee. They've had a little problem with the option.
They lost a yard on the play, so it'll be 3rd and 5 from the South 47. About 12:40 left to play in the first half. South on top, 7-0. Gwynn calls the signals. Salee is still in the backfield with Van Pelt. Quick pass over the middle. Nobody is there as it bounces harmlessly into the hands of Amos Pond. Incomplete.
Good play by Opine that time. He was really on the tight end, jammed the kid pretty well. He didn't get out into the secondary.
Dave Opine out of Crescent Valley, 5'11", 168 pounds. Punting situation for the North. 4th down and 5 at the 47, so Ken Sloy will give it up. Once it deep, fair catch is called and made at about the 16, 17-yard line of the South by number 25, Amos Pond. So we've got 12 minutes and 22 seconds. Andy Cox is leading 7-0. We resumed while we were away. We had an incomplete pass on the first down, and we just had a run up the middle by Tom Lawson of Redmond High School for about 6 yards. So the South is in business, 3rd down and 4 with the ball on their own 22-yard line. Ed Singler still the quarterback from Medford. Singler calling his own plays. Sets with an eye backfield behind him. Straight back. He's got pressure. He spins away. Pass is almost picked off on the near side by Jeff Salih. It was intended for Jeff Peterson of McNary.
An out pattern. Salih certainly did an excellent job on covering to the outside and got a hand on the ball.
First quarter stats indicate what dominance there has been to this point has come from the South. Yards rushing 43 to 15. 4 of 6 completions by Ed Singler. The North has yet to complete a pass. They're even up on turnovers. Total yards 68 to 15. South, though, is going to have to give it up here on a 4th and 4 situation at their own 22. The punter is Dave Opine. He gets it away. It'll be taken by the up back. He spins away and it's got some daylight. That's Randy Martin of Lake Ridge taking it down to about the 43-yard line of the South.
Here's what happens on that play. They can only rush 2 people downfield. Temple does a great job of getting downfield, but he knocks the blocker down, really puts a hat on him, and there isn't anyone left. They block number 13, Peterson, to the outside, and he finally does come back in and make the play, but a good gain by Martin.
So it'll be 1st and 10 now for the North on the South 43-yard line. Bill Quinn, the quarterback. Rourke Lowe is back in the halfback spot. Van Pelt still at fullback. And there's a handoff to Van Pelt. He spins. And an excellent carry by Larry Van Pelt. That's going to be about a 15-yard gain and a 1st down.
Very, very, very fine run by Van Pelt. He cuts up the hole. They fake the pitch out. Now there's a great job of coming off Vabora's tackle. Breaks Opine to the outside and nearly breaks it for a touchdown. Good pursuit by John Drops from North Bend to make the play.
That was a 15-yard gain. 1st and 10 for the North team on their own 28. And their first down of the ball game. Gwynn gives it off to Lowe. Not much on that left side. He gets everything on his own, about 3 yards. He's stopped by John Drops.
On the play that Van Pelt went so well, you can see that the South is really pursuing to that quick pitch. And they gave back to fake the quick pitch and handed back inside. And Van Pelt made an excellent run on top of it.
Gain of 3 for Rourke Lowe on the play. 2nd down and 7, ball on the South 25-yard line. South defending that 7-0 lead. About 10 minutes left to play in the first half. Bill Gwynn hands the ball off to Van Pelt. Stumbles, keeps his footing, and turns it into a good carry. He's down just about to the 15-yard line. Stopped by Andy Vabora of Medford.
North's now taking advantage of some of that. North is taking advantage of some of that South pursuit, faking out one side, and Van Pelt, of course, ran extremely well.
Larry Van Pelt headed to Princeton University on a football scholarship. He was a 3.5 student at Sunset High School. 1st down and 10, ball on the 16-yard line. Lowe and Van Pelt set in an eye behind Gwynn, and they'll stay there. Lowe, the second man through, he's hit, ball is knocked away. Gwynn scrambles after it, he can't get to it, and the South is going to take over. Recovered by Frank Gannon. I believe it was number 57, Frank Gannon, that made that play. Here, we'll take a look at it on the replay.
A great hit on Lowe right here. Let's take a look who it was. It was Gannon, wasn't it?
Ball gets away from Gwynn, and the scramble is on.
Gannon recovers the ball.
So it's 1st and 10 for the South on their own 32-yard line. Eric Kruger was the player that put the wood to Rourke Lowe and jammed the ball free. 1st and 10 for the South, ball on their own 32. New quarterback in the ball game, Mark D'Olivo out of Ashland High School. He wears number 11. and he was second team all-conference. The reason he was second team is because Ed Singler of Medford plays in the same conference. Dolivio on his way to Portland State and the tutelage of Mouse Davis.
Fred Norgan made a very good play on that last play. Extremely quick, came off the block, and
Second down, 10 yards to go for the South. Handoff goes to Mark Temple, and there's nothing there as Fred Nordgren again makes the defensive play for the North team.
looks as though Norgan's getting just a little excited.
Nordgren goes 5'11", 210, and was a state wrestling champion at Hillsborough. Another one bound for Portland State University. An all-state player and all-metro area player. Third down and 14 as the North has pushed the South back after they recovered that fumble. The South goes now from their own 28-yard line. Again, Mark D'Olivo is the quarterback. He wants to throw it straight back. Goes to the far side, wide open and intercepted by Greg Mosier. And he's forced out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. Let's take another look at it.
They have double cover on the outside, and they're running out. Really ought to throw the ball over the top or not throw it. And certainly Moser is wide open for the reception. They covered on top, covered on the outside, and we got the ball turned over again in relatively poor field position for the South. Relatively good position for the North.
Mosier out of Hood River High School. He's going to try and play some football for Rich Brooks at the University of Oregon. He will be a walk-on. No scholarship yet for Mosier. First and 10 for the South. Bad pitch. Bops away and is picked up by Varaldes. And he's finally brought down back at the 40-yard line, so the South counters the North's interception with a big loss on the first play. Making the tackle Eric Kruger and Lloyd Williamson. Williamson of Medford, Kruger out of Churchill.
Quick pitch is a fairly high-risk play, and it requires some timing, and certainly we've had a few problems with the pitches here this evening.
That was also Varaldes' first go at offense. He has started in the defensive backfield. He came in for the one play, was sent off, and now they're trying to figure out if they want George to stay in, and they're going to call timeout to talk it over. So the South is on top here, 7-0. We've got a timeout taken by the North Stadium, and let's go down to Rick Metzger on the sidelines.
Okay, I just talked to Coach Lyons from the North squad, and as you may have noticed, the North team has opened up the offense considerably here in the second period of play. Now they're going to look to give the ball to Van Pelt more. They had some difficulty early in the first period. They think now they can go back and put him off tackle. That's what we'll be looking for here in the second period.
Thank you, Rick. North has it second down, 22 yards to go after that big loss on the opening play following their pass interception. They've got it on the South 40. The South 40, that's where you plant the corn, isn't it?
Yeah, heck of a term.
Phil Gwynn, the quarterback. Varaldes and Van Pelt, the running backs. Lowe is out of there for the moment. Gwynn back to throw. He's going deep. He's got a man out there. It is Lowe, who they put out as a wide receiver, and he goes in for the score. So the South goes to the North goes to the big play.
Not a real fancy when he just drops back and throws it over the top, and low speed just blazes by. Manley got turned around, still looking back, and Lowe makes a nice grab. It's right over the top. Very well thrown. Just a streak pattern by Lowe.
Of course, we should be expecting that because Lowe was also a very dangerous receiver as well as a runner for Mike Lopez at Aloha High School last season. So the North now within a point of the South. It's 7-6, and they'll try to tie it up on the point after touchdown. John Heiser of McMinnville will attempt the PAT. There's the snap, Gwynn the hold, and it doesn't look good. It's off to the near side or to the right side. So the North is on the board, but they still trail by a point, 7-6, following that explosive touchdown pass from Bill Gwynn to Rourke Lowe. Bill Gwynn, of course, can throw other things beside a football. He has been involved in American Legion baseball all week, playing for the Beaverton American Legion team that was in the state finals, one of the top pitchers and quite a hitter also in American Legion baseball in the state. Beaverton, though, did not fare well in the series as Corvallis took that best-of-5, 3-1. The final game last night, so Corvallis advances to the American Legion regional championships, and Bill Gwynn can concentrate now on football for tonight. But when he goes to the University of Oregon, he is concentrating on baseball. Will go on a baseball scholarship. North to kick it off, and they elect to do so from the near hash mark. Any particular reason for that, Mouse?
Well, I think it has a tendency to confuse the return a bit. And in a game like this, you can't work on all kinds of returns. So hopefully that's what they're attempting to do. Manley is deep, and he's a very, very good athlete.
Manley is the deep back. They've got two up backs, Jeff Peterson on the far side and Andy Cox, who scored the North touchdown, or the South touchdown on the near side. But the kick goes to Manley at about his 3-yard line. Cuts to the outside, pursuit develops, and he's brought down at about the 23.
Good coverage by Randy Martin.
So the South still leading, but now it's only a point. 7-6 will put it in play. 1st and 10 on their own 22. Coming up at about 6 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the first half here at Civic Stadium. DeLevio out of Ashland is still the quarterback. Ed Singler started the game, played the first quarter and part of the second quarter for the South, but now he's been replaced by DeLevo. He calls the signals. The eye is behind him. He keeps. There's a pitch. It goes wide to Jeff Peterson, and he's trapped on a fine defensive play by Matt Hall out of Grant High School.
Hall certainly showed excellent speed. He covers the option from the backside. Here you can see Hall coming all the way from the backside. It's off of a blast fake inside. Here's the pitch, and watch Hall coming clear from the backside. Normally you don't draw it up quite like that.
Matt Hall was an all-league player in the PIL, and he also made the all-state choir.
Not too bad.
Grant High School.
Keep
Doing a little
screaming
singing
on
out
that.
there tonight.
Yes, indeed. He's
2nd
screaming on
and
that
12, ball on the 20 for the South. Split backfield now. A delay play, plenty of room up the middle. Tom Lawson from Redmond High School scampers all the way out to the 30-yard line.
Very
just
good
shy
call.
of a first down.
It's a draw play up inside. Line does a good job. Here they come. And an excellent hole up inside. Lawson slips here just as he makes a cut, or he might have made the first down. Very, very fine call.
Gary Zoner of Canby provided the defensive play. Tom Lawson running at the fullback position is 5'9", 175. He gets in the middle of that line. He's kind of hard to find. South tries it again. Whew.
Excellent move by Temple. Great balance.
Caught in the backfield, and he still managed to get back and pick up the first down yardage a couple of yards. So that gives the South a first down and 10 yards to go. And let's call the ball placement on the 33-yard line. South on top, 7-6. They've been rotating a lot of their backfield now, so they get a guy in for a play or two and then get him out. I guess it keeps them fresh, but it can cause some mistakes sometimes.
Right,
Can it?
yeah, you really can. And they're moving a lot of kids around on defense, too. It looks like they're giving everyone an opportunity to play a lot on both sides.
There's the option out to Temple. He's trying to go on the near side, and the pursuit cuts him down before he can pick up too much yardage. It'll be about a 2-yard gain. John Motorspatcher of Gresham and Gary Zoner out of Canby over to make the stop.
Good speed by Temple to even get to the corner.
4 minutes, 48 seconds left to play in the first half now. 7-6, the South on top. They started this drive back at about their 15-yard line. They've moved it out to the 36 where they've got it 2nd down, 8 yards to go. DeLevo to call the plays. DeLevo out of Ashland High School, headed to Portland State University. His backs drop into the eye behind him. First man through is Lawson. This time he couldn't hide, and he's nailed after a short, if any, gain. John Motorspatcher of Gresham teamed with Fred Nordgren out of Hillsboro to make the stop. And I'm reminded that both players are headed to Portland State University. And before you Ducks and Beavers get upset with us for having Mouse Davis on the broadcast, your coaches, Rich Brooks and Craig Fertig, will be joining Rick Metzger at halftime to give their impressions of the game and I'm sure talk about their upcoming football season. 3rd down and 8 for the South. Ball on the 36. Back set in the eye behind DeLevo. He fakes the handoff, lofts the pass out, almost intercepted by Matt Hall of Grant, who's played a whale of a defensive ball game, particularly here in the second quarter. It was intended out there, I believe, for Tom McGlasson, but don't hold me to that.
Laid it up just a little too soft. Kid was going to get there. It's going to take another 2-3 steps.
4th and 8 now, so the South is going to have to kick it away. Dave Opine to do the kicking. Booties away, end over end, taken again by the up man, Martin. He bobbled it momentarily. Now he tries to go somewhere with it, but by that time the South, despite the fact that they cannot leave until the ball is kicked, were able to catch up with him after the bobble. 3:55 now left to play in the first half. South still leading at 7-6. North will put the ball in play on their own 32-yard line. Got a timeout called by the official on the field. So again, we'll tell you that there's 3:55 left to play in the first half, and the South holds on to a 1-point lead in the Shrine All-Star game as they're on top 7-6. Brian Drees and Mouse Davis back at Civic Stadium. The North in possession, 1st and 10 on their own 32-yard line. Bill Gwynn still quarterbacking the North team. He's got Van Pelt. And the touchdown man for the North so far tonight, Rourke Lowe, in the backfield behind him. And that's Lowe. He breaks free. He's out to about the 48-yard line, 47-yard line of the North. Big hole, and it opened very quickly, Mouse.
Certainly did. It's just a quick dive. You get Lowe into the secondary. Here you can see Lowe is just diving straight ahead. The tackle flocks down on a man. Lowe breaks to the outside, and Opine comes across. Tell you about 2 more steps, and it'd be tough to run that kid down.
So a big gain gives him 1st and 10. Lowe now 23 yards for 4 carries. That last was for 12 yards. Gwynn calls the signals. Van Pelt. Good counter play, about 6-yard gain.
A little quick trap inside. Sanders did a pretty good job opening the hole.
Mentioned that Ron Linehan is the head coach of the North team this year. He's been assisted by Tom Smythe, who is leaving Lake Ridge, just announced the other day to join Craig Fertig at Oregon State. Also Larry Binkert of Forest Grove and Jerry Lyons of Jackson assisting Ron Linehan, this year's North coaching staff. 2nd down, 4 yards to go. Ball on the 47-yard line as the North has moved into South territory. Gwynn, Van Pelt and Lowe still behind him. Fake to Lowe. Gwynn keeps, turns up inside. Good move. And he's got about 10 yards on the play, and that'll be another 1st down.
That's the play I thought they might use more. That thing has been there. They're really very low and Van Pelt conscious, which leaves a fairly big hole for that quarterback.
Got to compliment the North team, although early on they had some difficulties and mix-ups running that option-oriented offense at the beginning of the game. It's a difficult offense to run, Mouse, especially when you're not used to the players that are behind you, and they've been handling pretty well here of late.
Yeah, they really have. They've kind of changed theirs a bit, so they aren't running quite so much option and mixing it up a little more with the dive, with the quick traps and the fake outside.
1st and 10 from the 36, and Gwynn wants to throw. They're going deep. Sloy is out there, but it's picked off by Stan Manley of Sheldon at the South 10-yard line. So another North turnover gives the ball to the South. Ball was a bit underthrown on that one.
It was, and Manley is right inside of him. Manley has done a very good job the entire ball game covering whoever he's been on out there. And another good play by Manley.
Again, he was the starting quarterback for Sheldon, and in this game, playing primarily on defense. Of course, he played a lot of defense for Sheldon also.
Right, he started both ways for Sheldon.
Coming up on 2 minutes left to play in the first half. South holding on to that 7-6 lead. They start at 1st and 10 at their 10-yard line. Singler back in the game at quarterback. He hands off to Cox. Cox gets about 3 yards over the left-hand side of the line. Andy Cox of Crater, of course, the young man that scored the South's touchdown back in the 1st quarter. Cox 5'11", 165. He's got a football scholarship to go to OIT, where he'll play for Don Reed, an all-conference player out of Crater. Ed Singler, as his backs drop into the eye. Lawson and Cox are behind him. And Singler wants to throw it almost from his end zone. It's picked off, and that will be a touchdown. Jeff Sully takes it in, and suddenly the North has jumped into the lead, and Mouse, I don't care if it's Joe Namath, when you start passing in the flats that close, it's dangerous.
I was a little surprised. I was just going to say for the play, I doubt that you'll see South do anything that's going to be very exciting down here. And then they put one up, and Salih is doing nothing but just coming on the ball, and he's wide open for a touchdown.
Out of Forest Grove, Jeff Salih, number 20 for the North. So that puts the North on top by a score of 12-7. They'll try to get 6 points ahead as they attempt the extra point. Go up to the line for the PAT. John Heiser will attempt. Oh, they're going to go for 2. They're going to go for 2, excuse me. Bill Gwynn gives it off to Van Pelt, and he's in. So that'll put the North on top by 2, 14-7. Here's another look.
Just a straight dive to Van Pelt. very good hole inside, and the end doesn't close down, and he walks in the end zone. I imagine they'll talk about that particular sideline call in that situation. That puts certainly a different complexion to the football game, and it looked like they were going to go in 7-6.
As we mentioned, Ed Singler is calling his own plays when he is in the ball game. Floyd Halverson, the South head coach from Churchill, feels there is enough similarity between the offense that the South team is running and what Singler ran at Medford to allow Ed to call his own plays. And of course, when you're the first-team All-State quarterback, it's not too hard to let you take over and do your thing. But that time they got caught, and the North takes over on top 14-7, a minute 18 left to play in the first half. In a situation like this, Mouse, in an all-star game, if you're the South, do you try to get it on the board before you go in?
Depends a little on where they return the ball to. If they get a good return, then they can go for it. If not, then the only thing you ought to try to get on the board is the long ball.
It's a squib kick that's taken by one of the up men. It looks like Andy Cox. It is Andy Cox, as he brings it out to about the 34-yard line, where he's stopped by Randy Martin of Lake Ridge for the North. So the South will put it in business, 1st and 10 with the ball on their own 33, a minute 13 left to play in the first half. The South now finds themselves 7 points down in the game, 14-7. The North is on top. Singler still the quarterback for the South. We had about 3 series of downs run by Mark DeLevo, and now Singler has come back in. His backs are split behind him. Temple and Lawson, but nobody is going anywhere this time. We had movement in the line. I think Dan Elliott jumped off for the North.
I think he made a movement, but the offensive lineman turned out to be the guy that got caught.
Mr. and Mrs. Elliott, I apologize. Your son was right. A legal procedure, that's 5 yards against the South. 1st and 15 now from their own 28. Occasionally you can hear, and I assume that our camera crew has been showing you some of the rally squads on the side. I'll mention quickly that they come from Pendleton, Crescent Valley, Lake Ridge, Jackson, Churchill, Sunset, and Forest Grove. But now Singler wants to throw. Good rush, and he's brought down. Never really had a chance as the North line poured in, led by Dan Elliott out of Barlow, and Singler goes down for a loss.
Elliott, extremely quick kid. He's not very big, but he's really accelerated to the football that time. 16 seconds. I guess they got time to throw a bomb if they want to.
Gary Rettler of Dallas was also in on that play for the North. Clock ticks away now, coming up on 5 seconds. Let's see if they get the play off. Singler wants to throw. He's going to put it up and hope for something. And what he's going to get is an interception by Casey Christensen in the North defensive backfield. Now there's a lateral back to Salee, and Salee takes it down into the 30, but we've got a flag on the play, and I wonder if that little movement was legal.
Yeah, I'm sure that was legal. There must have been a clip or something in back of it. Let's see if we can see some kind of a clip or something in back of it. There's a good, oh, there's the clip right there at the top of it. I'll tell you, this Christensen is a quick thinker, isn't he? Look at that little pop back. That'll turn a little excitement into the play. Salee looks like he's going to go all the way for a moment.
So the first half is ended here at Civic Stadium in Portland, and I tell you, things have picked up considerably in the last 7 or 8 minutes of this ball game, and the second half, I'm sure, will have more to come. The North is leading 14-7 as they got a long touchdown pass from Bill Gwynn to Rourke Lowe, and then Jeff Salee took that intercepted pass into the end zone for another score. The North touchdown has come from Andy Cox of Crater. It was about a 12-yard run, finally following a North turnover. Let's go down to the field and Rick Metzger.
We're with the head coach of the South, Floyd Halverson from Churchill. And Floyd, with about a minute to go in the half, it looked like you'd be going in the locker room a point up, and now you're down by 7. How will that change what you do in the halftime locker room and coming out in the second half?
Well, they're just out-quicking us right now. We're just going to have to make some adjustments, take care of the speed. They're just quicker than heck on defense and on offense. We seem to be doing a pretty good job on the defense, but we just too many mistakes. And if we can cut them down a little bit, we'll get back in there.
What do you think about the long ball? This North team has started to go, try for the quick opening on the offense. Do you expect that still from them with the lead?
Oh, yeah. They're going to keep moving. They have to. They just can't push it at us. They're going to have to throw the pass and try to pop a long one on us. We're all right defense. We just got to get offense just a little bit.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck. Coach Floyd Halverson of Churchill High School, back up to the booth with Brian Drees.
Thank you, Rick. So we'll see what kind of new strategy, if at all, any new strategy comes out. Perhaps the teams will stick with what they're doing. It's gotten them on the board each once on offense, and then the North, though, has the lead on the defensive touchdown, the interception by Jeff Salee. So we're at halftime here at Civic Stadium, and there's going to be a lot of activity going on down on the field. We'll be covering that. Plus, of course, Rick Metzger will be talking to Craig Fertig and Rich Brooks, and we'll get all that underway. Earlier in the broadcast, Coach Mouse Davis was involved in this game as a coach back in his high school days on 4 different occasions. And Mouse, from that standpoint, how do you evaluate some of the individuals so far?
I think we've had several kids that played extremely well. Certainly Manley, I think, has played very, very well. Secondary did get beat for the 1 touchdown, but he's played very, very consistently. Appears to be an excellent athlete. Certainly Van Pelt and Lowe are living up to what they're supposed to do well, and that's get the ball in the end zone. Both of them very exciting kids. I think both Modispatcher and Norgren have played very, very tough on defense for the North. And it's tough not to mention Jeff Salee. When you turn that big one around, well, that was an excellent, excellent play. I think another kid that showed extreme quickness is a little Temple kid from Pendleton. He's looked very, very much like an outstanding athlete. And I think those kids certainly were outstanding. There have been a lot of kids that have played very, very solidly inside. You look at an offensive lineman like Scott Mills, who's just been crushing some kids down. Certainly you don't always see that, but he played very, very well in the first half.
The North will kick off to open the second half. The South has a single deep back, Mark Temple out of Pendleton, and has 2 up backs, Andy Cox on the far side and Stan Manley on the near side. They're at about the 15-yard line, while Temple is back at the 5. And we are underway for the second half. The ball comes down to one of the up men. That is Tom Lawson, the fullback on offense, and he gets a few yards out to about the 33, 34-yard line of the North. The stop out there was made by Auxier and George Veraldez. So, with the South now 7 points down, trailing the North 14-7, they will try to develop their offense as they go 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line. I see Singler is in there at quarterback. We'll check the rest of the backfield as they come out and line up. Singler, I'm sure, is still calling his own plays for Floyd Halverson, the head coach of the South. Singler brings him up. He's got split backs. Temple is the near back. Now they slide into an I. Lawson goes down in front of him. Lawson from Redmond. There's the give through to Temple. Quick hole and a quick burst of speed. Nets him about 7 yards. Mark Temple, again, we'll tell you, is 5'10", 165 out of Pendleton, an all-conference player for the Buckaroos.
Just a blast and a give to Temple, and the kids do a good job again. They're running a lot to Mills' side. He does a very good job again opening that hole. He's pretty well been handling the man in front of him.
The South sends Manley out wide, but they elect to keep it on the ground straight up the middle. Temple gets the call again, and this time he is met head-on by number 88, Gary Rettler out of Dallas, an all-league player from Dallas who's going to University of California on a football scholarship. How'd that one get away, Mouse?
Well, what happened was the tackle had him sealed to the inside, and the back broke it to the inside. Not a real good plan.
13 minutes and 30 seconds left to play here in the 3rd quarter. The North on top of the South, 14-7. Singler calling the plays for the South with a split backfield. They've got a slot back out to the far side. That's Manley. Again, they go up the middle. And it's tough going in there. That is the trenches. Zahner makes the stop. Not an easy man to bring down either. Andy Vobora is in at fullback now for the South on that play. He goes 6'3", 200. All-state linebacker and fullback.
Vobora makes an excellent move and really fighting to get it up inside, but the North defense all over it. Really didn't have a chance for the first down.
Stop 2 yards short of the first down. It's 4th and 2. Dave Opine will kick it away for the South. So on their first offensive series, the South is stopped by the North. Fair catch signaled and made at about the 10-yard line by Casey Christensen of Sunset. So the North will take over on about their 10, let's call it the 11-yard line, 89 yards away from the end zone, and they hold a 7-point lead, 14-7. Anything you think we might see differently off the top from the North offense?
No, I think they'd start out with a little quick strap, and they may run the option a bit. I think they wouldn't probably try to read the dive quite as much and maybe go a little more of the quarterback run or pitch. They're a little deep to be throwing the ball too much, but certainly they got to go with the pass. They have changed quarterbacks now and going with Andy Dick.
Andy Dick out of the Dalles will be the quarterback. Same set of running backs. And on the first play from scrimmage, the ball is mishandled by the quarterback and center, and the South has taken over. Recovered there by John Drops out of North Bend from his linebacking spot, and a early on turnover by the North puts the South in business, and they are only 10 yards away from tying this ball game up.
There was a mix-up on that play. The guard pulled. He was going to trap. He pulled the wrong way and ran right into the quarterback, knocked the ball out of his hand.
So suddenly the South definitely back in business with Singler, and he's got Vobora now behind him, and also Mark Temple. Second man through is Temple, cuts to the outside, and he is upended, but they'll stop his forward progress at about the 6-yard line. Randy Martin spilled Mr. Temple.
Well, I tell you, that Temple's a tough running little kid. Very good block by the right guard. Nice block by the tackle, Nugent. Temple makes a good effort over the top. He's a tough little kid.
And I tell you, your players know, Mouse Davis, that the Civic Stadium floor is not the softest place to come down on.
You did see him bounce that time.
Ed Singler, 2nd and 4 from the 6. Vobora and Temple. Temple again spins nicely away from one tackler for about a 4-yard gain down to the 2-yard line. John Heiser makes the defensive play. Heiser out of McMinnville.
Really wasn't much there, but Temple's getting everything that there is.
Showing a lot of quickness and being able to maneuver away from guys that suddenly show up in front of him.
He certainly is.
So let's call it 3rd and 2, ball on the 3, and that's important because they can get a first down without scoring if they get just outside the 1-yard line. According to the stakes on the far sideline, they will take it first down and goal to go. But right now it's 3rd and 2, ball on the 3. South trying to get in to tie up the ball game. Singler. Temple. Tough yardage. Don't think he got it. Might be just shy. It's going to be very close. Stop made initially by number 41, Gary Zauner out of Canby, an all-league player who wants to study radio and television at Whitworth College. Or make that Linfield, excuse me.
4th and just a little bit.
Let's call it 4th and 1 at the 2-yard line. Big play for the South. They got turnover that has enabled them to come within 2 yards of getting into the end zone, but they must get at least 1 on this play. Singler gives it to Cox, who scored the first touchdown, and he scores the second. Andy Cox over the top. Andy Cox out of Crater brings the South team to within a point at 14-13.
Just a blast. Vobora is going to lead the play right in. A reverse pivot by Singler. Middle linebacker filling inside, but there are just too many bodies. Good job by the offensive line of South coming off the ball. Big Matt Lawrence, Cox from Pendleton, all of them did a good job of blocking up inside.
So now the South has an opportunity to tie it up, and Andy Cox, who has scored their 2 touchdowns and kicked the first extra point, will try to assemble 14 points on his side of the ledger for the evening. The placement, the kick, and that young man can kick. Andy Cox drills it through the middle to tie it up at 14.
He wasn't even their high school kicker. Suppose they might have had a pretty good one.
Either that or he is a very quick study. In 2 weeks, he is drilling those things through the uprights. So with 10 minutes and 16 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter of the 31st Annual Shrine All-Star Football Game at Civic Stadium, the South has tied it up. We are even at 14 apiece. The South to kick off after tying the ball game up at 14. The North has a single deep man, the high school All-American running back from Aloha High School, Rourke Lowe. The upbacks are George Baraldis of Sunset and his teammate from the Apollos, Larry Van Pelt. And then about 10 yards in front of them, in case it's a short boot, Casey Christensen is there to take it. This one will go to Baraldis. The All-State defensive back gets a chance to carry the ball, slips down. The turf is a little slick from the evening rain, and he is down at about the 24-yard line in North, and that's where they'll put it in business. First down, 10 yards to go. Again, we are all even now as Andy Dick, moments ago, scored his 2nd touchdown, or excuse me, Andy Cox, moments ago, scored his 2nd touchdown of the night to bring the South into the 14-14 tie. Andy Dick is the North quarterback. He only got one chance last time on the fumble. This time he makes a pitch as he's hit, and Lowe has to scramble and recover the ball back at the 10-yard line as the South defense poured in on Andy Dick.
Great hit here by Lloyd Williamson. Watch him come off the corner. Defensive end for Medford, streaking right there. Makes the quarterback make an awfully quick decision. And when you just put a new quarterback in and you run that veer option, you can get that ball spraying around on the field.
Really was good reaction by Ward Lowe, too, as he was headed the opposite way the ball went. And on this somewhat slippery turf, was able to stop and get down on the ball to keep the North in possession. They go now 2nd and 23 from the 11. Draw play to Van Pelt, nothing there. Good defensive play made by John Drops out of North Bend. Might have picked up 2 or 3 yards, so it's going to be 3rd and definitely long yardage. In this position, Mouse Davis and Portland State would throw it. I don't know if the North will.
Looks like just a short yardage play, Brian.
Coming up on 8 minutes and 50 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter, tied at 14. Andy Dick out of the Downs. Voted the team's outstanding offensive back last year. He drops straight back to about the 4, puts it up. Now he unleashes it down the sideline, intended over there for Casey Christensen, but it was well beyond him. Amos Pond of Pendleton was providing the coverage, so the North's going to have to give it up. 4th down situation, 22 yards to go from their 12. Now, this is one time I'm sure the coaches are grateful of the no rush on the punt rule, because the North will be punting from their goal line, but remember, the South team cannot rush. Punt has gotten away. It'll come down to midfield. It's taken out there, and cutting back into the inside is Tom McGlasson from Churchill. Good return, picked up about 18 yards on the return, gets it down. Good field position for the South. They'll go from about the 37, 38-yard line of the North.
You know, the rule kind of does make it exciting. The kids have gotten some punt returns, and that's not always the case. So it looks to be a very good rule.
1st and 10 for the South on their own, or on the North, 38-yard line. Singler with Babora and Temple going to the eye. Babora the near back. They give it to Temple, though. Nothing in the middle, so he tries the outside, and he is nailed there by Randy Martin of Lake Ridge. And the officials are signaling a timeout. We've got a player injured. It looks like Temple, and it seems to be perhaps his right ankle.
That's too bad. Temple's been playing extremely well.
He's getting up. They will take him out of the game, but he...
Here you can see Temple making a quick little move. Then Martin fills up. Let's see. We can see what happens to the ankle. Very difficult to tell.
Mark Temple is coming off the field. He's on his feet and walking, but he's being helped off the field. Hopefully, nothing is serious, so we may see him back in the game. Again, he's from Pendleton, an all-conference player who's headed to Southern Oregon State College and will play football down there. We're talking about a lot of these young men and where they're going to college and who they'll be playing football for. There are a number of young men who, for them, it's their last football game, and makes it even that much more important for them to have one last good night on the football field. Ed Singler from Medford calling the single. 2nd down and 8. Gives to the second man through. That's Andy Cox. And another strong defensive play. This one from Gary Zahner, 6'1", 190 from Canby. Third and 9. Ball now on the 36-yard line of the North. Let's make it the 38-yard line of the North. 7 minutes, 15 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter. We are dead even at 14. Singler still calling the plays for the South team. Floyd Halverson letting Singler call his own game. Lawson is back in the backfield replacing Babora. He's the down back in the eye. Singler fakes to the second man through, throws out. He's got a man there if he can get to it. Intended out on the near side for Dean Lindstrom, coming up to provide the coverage, and very good coverage it was. George Baraldis of Sunset.
Ball isn't thrown extremely well. It looks as though it's going to be completed, and then Baraldis makes a nice defensive play to knock it out. The ball's lofted up, so you got a man open. And it's just thrown a little too high, and Baraldis comes across and makes a good defensive play.
Dean Lindstrom of Churchill couldn't quite hold on to it. He's an all-district player who had a 3.3 grade average in high school. He also is an elite class ski racer. 4th down and 9, and the South will go for it. Considering the field position, not a bad idea. Singler escapes. Now he tries to throw, but discretion becomes the better part of valor. He pulls it in, and he's throwing for a loss. The North will take over. Let's go down to Rick Metzger on the field for status report on Mark Temple.
Brian, good word on Mark Temple. He suffered only a Charlie horse. He's going to run it off. He'll probably see more action before the night is through. Back to you, Brian.
What do you think about it, Mouse? Would you have punted?
Probably not.
Do you know what the word means? North puts it in play. Bill Gwynn back at quarterback. He's got Lowe and Van Pelt behind him. Quick pitch out to Lowe. He tries the near side, cuts inside. Cole is there momentarily. He'll get about 7 yards out of it. He's brought down right at midfield by, again, Stan Manley of Sheldon, who has been all over the field for the South defense tonight. Mr. Manley playing a very strong game. Let's call that a 7-yard gain for Lowe. So the South has it now 2nd and 3 on the 49. Or make it the North has it 2nd and 3 on the South 49. Gwynn, the quarterback. Great defensive play put on by Sharp. The ball is free. It's scooped up by Vobora, and Gwynn finally throws him down, and the South gets it right back.
Okay, the South has really been shooting. The South has really been shooting the gaps. They've had people free all night. You can see the guard shooting inside, getting a hold of Gwynn and creating the fumble. I think that was Sharp from Marshfield. Vobora scoops it up on the run, and Gwynn comes over and tackles it.
So turnovers
turnovers.
continue to plague the North ball team as the South takes over 1st and 10 on the North 37-yard line. Singler, the quarterback, gives it off to Lawson. Tough running by Tom Lawson of Redmond. Gets about 7 yards. Lawson goes 5'9", 175. He'll play football at Oregon College of Education. Call it a 6-yard gain, and he got most of that Mouse on his own.
He's a good-looking little back, too.
2nd and 4. Singler with Cox and Lawson behind him. Jeff Peterson is in the slot. Quick handoff goes to Lawson. And again, he churns on his own for about 4 yards. Be close to the 1st down. Let's see if they measure. I don't think so. I think they're going to give him about a yard shy. So it'll be 3rd and 1. The ball's on the 32-yard line, or the 22-yard line of the North squad. South breaks the huddle, and Singler leads him out to the line. Mark Coates of Sprague goes down over the ball. He's got Braun on his right, Mark Cox on his left. Again, the South goes straight up the middle. South players are clapping their hands in what appears to be frustration. I don't think they got it, but the referee says, yes, you did. You're still in business. 1st and 10, 4 minutes left to play in the 3rd quarter.
Scott Mills just returned to the ball game. He'd been out with an ankle that they just retaped. He's missed the last few plays, and he's certainly done an excellent job for him. That should help him in the line. Looks as though the South says, hey, we're just going to roll it up and try to power you now. And that's been their approach their last few plays.
Vobora has replaced Lawson at the fullback position. Andy Cox still the upback. Singler, though, wants to throw. Over the head intended for Dean Rosenberg. But it went beyond him. They had another man out on the pattern, Jeff Peterson, but it was too far away for Peterson to go after, so it goes incomplete. So it'll be 2nd and 10 for the South. Ball on the North 26-yard line.
South has certainly been a great deal more successful with the run than they have the pass. And in this 4-down situation, or 4-down zone, they very well could go back to that crunch 'em up style.
South is now 4 for 12. Passing. They give the ball to Andy Cox. And Cox is stopped by John Modispatcher and Kevin Auxier of Lake Ridge. Mo Dispatcher out of Gresham High School. He's going to Portland State University. Auksher will go to
Idaho.
University of Idaho on a football scholarship. 3rd and 8. Ball on the North 24-yard line. 3 minutes to play, third quarter, tied at 14. Medford's Ed Singler fakes to Cox. Goes over the middle, and it's picked off out there by the North. And we may have a long gainer. That's Randy Martin of Lakebridge. If he can get by one more man, unfortunately for the North standpoint, he doesn't. He's brought down there by Lynn Braun of Corvallis High School. And if Mr. Braun had not been there, Mr. Martin would have been gone.
Here Singler comes back off the play-action fake and throws it, and again Martin is just sitting back waiting for the ball to be thrown. The ball a little underthrown, and Martin makes a very good run back up inside. South's pass offense has certainly not been overly productive to this point. Been fairly productive for the North, but not too productive for the
So
South.
turnovers again change the complexion of the ball game. Scoreboard hasn't changed. We're tied at 14. Even as the score. The score is 14-14, and each team, the North and South, has turned the ball over 6 times so far this evening. 2:40 left to play in the third quarter. The North, after that interception, in business on the South 38-yard line. Bill Gwynn, the quarterback, Lowe and Van Pelt are set behind him. Gwynn fakes nicely. Nothing out to the right. He comes back, looks to the left. He's got a man out there. The pass is completed to Ken Sloy, number 82, out of the split-end position. Defensive coverage by Stan Manley.
The South team really isn't getting any pressure on from the backside. Gwynn sprints out, throws on the run very well, and Sloy slips back underneath for a good completion. Gwynn did a good job. South got to put a little pressure on from both sides of the defensive line.
Good play by Sloy in that he got out of his pattern when he saw the quarterback was in trouble and got to the open space, and the completion was made. 1st and 10, as the ball is now down to the South 24-yard line. Out of the eye. Gwynn spins, gives to Van Pelt. Big hole, cuts to the outside, bounces off a tackler. He's going for 6. Great run by Larry Van Pelt. 24 yards. Let's take another look at it.
We're going to see a little quick trap up inside. Here comes Sanders kicking the guard out. Van Pelt makes a cut to the right. Now here he just runs through the defensive secondary man.
Dave Opine.
Excellent run by Larry Van Pelt.
Van Pelt and Opine collided, and at least in this instance, Van Pelt got the best of it as he goes 24 yards for the touchdown. And the North has taken a 20-14 lead. They will try for the single point. John Heiser will attempt for the North. Got a hold up for a moment as the referee gets everything set.
Short a man.
That will hold you up. Now we've got everybody on the field. John Heiser from McMinnville to attempt the kick. It's up. This one is good. He missed the first one, but he's dead perfect on this one. And so the North has taken now a 7-point lead over the South as turnovers have dominated the game and in fact have taken care of 2 of the touchdowns and set up another. It's 21-14 with 2 minutes left to play in the third quarter. The North will kick off to the South as the South moves from north to south here at Civic Stadium. Dropping back deep for the South, and that's a good thing to see, is Mr. Temple, Mark Temple, back in the game. You remember he left moments ago with an injury that was diagnosed merely as a Charlie horse. He's back, ready to play, and he goes back to receive the kickoff for the South. John Heiser, who just put through the extra point, will kick off for the North. Again, about 2 minutes left to play in the third quarter, 21-14. The North now on top, following that fine 24-yard run by Larry Van Pelt. He's going to take a shot at Ivy League football in the fall as he goes to Princeton. Heiser up on the ball. It bounces off Temple, goes towards the sidelines. He's able to get to it. He spins away, and he's got a bit of a run back going. It's finally pulled down from behind at about the 25-yard line of the South.
I think he's got a Charlie horse again. Here the ball bounces over the top. Temple picks the ball up and turns in an excellent return. mostly on his own. Very quick little kid.
Temple is still down on the far side of the field as he's being attended to. It looks like they're looking at the same area last time he went down, so Mousy probably came up with that Charlie Wilson.
It does look like the same thing.
Minute 51 to go in the third quarter. North on top, 21-14. Let me put you in Floyd Halverson's shoes, Mouse Davis, and what do you look for on this series now?
Who they got? It looks to me like they've got to go a little more with the run. Their passing game has really been very non-productive, and they were having very good success moving the football up inside. It is not going to help them a lot losing Temple, but with Cox and Vibora, they've been moving it well too. Their offensive line seems to be coming off well, and I would think that they might go a little more with the run.
Let's go down to Rick Metzger on the sideline.
Brian Mark DeLevo is on the sideline right now, right with me, number 11. He has been warming up, and he will be coming in at quarterback sometime in the fourth period of play. Coach Halverson isn't exactly sure when, but you can look for DeLevo to go in at quarterback.
So out of Ashland High School, he saw a bit of duty back in the second quarter, but for the most part, it's been Ed Singler of Medford at the controls for the South. He brings them up again. He's got a backfield of Tom Lawson and Andy Cox. Lawson goes down. Cox remains up in the eye. Singler will keep, rolls right, turns the corner. He's got some space. Finally brought down by Varaldis, the all-state defensive back from Sunset High School, but that's about a 14-yard gain, and that'll be a first down for the South. Ball is out to about the 38-yard line, so we'll call that 13 yards on the play for Singler. As he kept the ball nicely that time, Mouse made a good move to cut up the field.
He certainly is an excellent athlete. He's got very, very good speed, good quickness, and he adds a dimension to their run. I would think they might go a little more with that run.
The backs drop into the eye, Lawson and Cox. This is Cox. He's nailed by Dan Elliott of Sam Barlow High School. An Eagle scout, and not a bad football player.
Pretty tiny, but he's got great quickness. He gets the football extremely well. That time he came off the block and made the tackle on the line of scrimmage.
5'11", 165. That is a little small for a defensive line.
Played nose guard for Barlow. Did a great job all year.
Gain of 2 yards on the play. Second down and 8. Ball on the South 41-yard line. Mark Coates over the ball. He's out of spray, and he'll give it to Singler. Singler, quick pass, outside. Complete, but very little gain, if any at all. Taken out there by Dwayne Levitt of Thurston, and he was hit immediately by Jeff Salee of Forest Grove. Salee, of course, intercepted the pass back in the first half and took it all the way in to put the North on top at that point, 14-7.
Salee has been playing very well, as has Martin in that defensive secondary. They've played very, very steady game.
Clock is running down. I don't think we'll get a play in before the third quarter runs out here. And there's the horn that ends the third quarter. So the teams will change direction. Fourth quarter about to get underway at Civic Stadium. The North leading the South 21-14. South has the ball on their own 41. Third down, 8 yards to go. Ed Singler still quarterbacking the South's team. He's got a backfield again of Tom Lawson and Andy Cox. They'll go out of the eye. Singler keeps, makes the wide pitch to Stan Manley, coming around from the wide receiver position. Didn't get anywhere, covered a lot of ground, but only about a half a yard forward. So the South will have to give it up.
Excellent play by Casey Christensen on the corner. He came up, Manley makes a good move outside here. Singler makes a pitch. Now watch Casey Christensen just stay right with him. Keeps him to the inside, makes a very fine tackle. Good play by Christensen.
And there was good pressure put on by Mike Jolly out of Wilson High School on the quarterback. For the South to kick. Dave Opine will punt it away. He'll be kicking from 31-yard line. Again, no rush allowed in the game. The lineman cannot leave until the ball is kicked. It's taken upfield by the North. The return is on by Randy Martin. He gets out to about the 38-yard line. And that's the point. The North team will take over. We've got a penalty call, though, against the South. And let's see if the North makes them kick it again.
I think they'll probably take the ball. Not a real long punt.
And right you are, Marsh Davis. They decline the call. It'll be 1st and 10 for the North at their own 37-yard line. 14 minutes, 10 seconds to play in the ball game. North on top, 21-14. Casey Christensen goes wide to the far side. To the North, Quinn the quarterback, Van Pelt and Lowe the running back. Mosier on the near side is wide. Gwynn scrambling, far side, 2 or 3 yards.
Complete breakdown the play. Gwynn turned went the wrong way, and being a fine athlete that he is, he turned it into a good play for the North. All his backs are coming right, he's going left.
Ran into John Drops and Stan Manley coming up from the North defense. Gain of 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 6 from the 43-yard line. Make that the 42-yard line of the North. Mark Peterson over the ball. Quinn comes up behind. Van Pelt and Lowe set in the backfield. Van Pelt breaks. They give it to Lowe on a quick counter through the middle. Sliding off to the left. Good play. Nice blocking. And that'll be a 1st down.
Extremely nice. A little slant play inside.
Stan Manley made the stop for the South, but not before Lowe had gone about 9 yards to pick up the 1st down.
Marvin Sanders been doing a very good job trapping for that North team. He pulled again and made a very key block.
Marvin Sanders out of Jefferson, headed to Portland State University. Sports editor of his high school yearbook. Glenn calls the signal. Spins, keeps. Lowe behind him takes the pitch. Nothing there. Good pursuit by the North, or by the South. Lloyd Williamson led the play for the South defense, number 85.
Played the option extremely well that time. Had all the options shut down.
Coming up on the 12:25 mark left to play. North on top, 21-14. They face a 2nd down and 8 situation. The ball on the 47-yard line of the South. Christensen is split to the near side. Mosier split to the far side. Gwynn, quick give to Van Pelt, and he is jammed there by Williamson again, and he had some help.
Pursuit caught up with him. The pursuit catches up from him inside out. Again, Sanders pulls, makes a good block inside out, and then Williamson comes back inside. The linebacker makes a play. The trap was still there, but a very good job by Williamson. He filled in extremely well.
That makes it 3rd and 6 for the North as Bill Gwynn brings them up to the line. Christensen wide on the near side. Out to the left is Greg Mosier. Gwynn moved. There goes the flag. Long pass out for Mosier. Or make it Ken Sloy. But it wouldn't have counted anyway. As Gwynn stepped back a beat before he got the ball.
He stepped back and the left guard pulled. Both of them moved, so a little confusion on snap count.
That came on a 3rd and 6 situation, and as you probably expected, the South said, no, we'll take the play to set up 4th and 6. And the North is going to have to give it up. John Heiser will kick it for the North, standing on his own 43-yard line. Again, no rush allowed, and Heiser gets it away. Or make it Ken Sloy. Into the end zone for a touchback, so they'll bring it out, and the South will take over at their 20. Singler still quarterbacking the South team as they come up to the ball. Mark Coates will center. He's out of Sprague. He's flanked at the guard position by Mark Cox of Pendleton and Lynn Braun of Corvallis. Running backs, Temple back in the game along with Lawson. Lawson gets the call this time. Tough yardage straight ahead for about 2 or 3 yards. Stop is made there by Fred Nordgren. And when Mr. Nordgren grabs a hold of you, you are held. State wrestling champion at, I believe, 191 pounds last year. He came into the game tonight, though, at 5'11", 210. Mouse Davis's weight program.
His arms look more like legs. He has got a real set of arms.
Gain of 3 on the play, 2nd and 7 for the South. Singler lofts it, complete, wide open to Dean Lindstrom, and he is finally taken out of bounds at the 43-yard line.
I thought it was illegal pursuit. Looked like illegal procedure. Just a dive fake and then just a loft over the top. Lindstrom makes the play in back of the corner. Corner's really sucked up. And a very nice game.
Randy Zimmerman of Jackson finally caught up with him.
Zimmerman got very good speed, makes the play on top.
So a big first down play. The South goes now from their own 43-yard line. There's the give to Temple. No, it's a fake, and Singler has kept it to the near side. That'll be about a 5-yard gain as he gave it to Temple as he broke through the middle, then took it away and kept it himself and rolled around the left end.
I think that was a good decision by Singler to keep. He'd made the pitch. I don't think they'd have picked up near the yardage.
Gary Rettler, an all-league player from Dallas High School, made the defensive play for the North. Point of on 10 minutes left to play in the game. 2nd down and 6 for the South. They trail by 7. They've got it on their own 47-yard line. Singler, the signals, gives it to Temple, and he is upended. He is driven down by Don Vandenberg.
Vandenberg just comes off the corner. They don't make the block, and he comes so fast that Temple can't make the move inside or outside. No one touched him.
Vandenberg is the coach of his school's Powder Puff football team. Don't know if he teaches that in his practices. He'll go on to OIT. 3rd down and 9 for the South. Ball on the 44. Big play right here. Singler with Lawson and Temple behind him. Straight drop. Over the middle. Bounces around 2-3 times and is finally caught there by Dean Rosenberg. It bounced off 2 North defenders.
All-time play there, Brian. This thing is good. The ball is not extremely well thrown. It kind of quails up in the air. Looks like it's going to be an interception. Kid sitting on top. Right last minute, kid jumps up, tips it back. He tips it back. And who is that?
Dean Rosenberg.
And Rosenberg from Penn comes up with a football. Good concentration by Rosenberg. That's the tip of the ball.
Randy Martin and Randy Zimmerman were the 2 defensive backs that bounced off before Rosenberg pulled it down. So a big play. 1st and 10 for the South on the North 25-yard line. Singler on a draw. Wide open Lawson. Cuts to the outside. Almost broke it. He's finally pulled down by Zimmerman. But a good gain and a big hole, you're right, Mouse, by the South line.
Very opened up extremely well. South line really just nailed him down to the inside.
For a young man that's been taken off the field a couple of times, Mark Temple.
He is something, isn't he?
Has been moving quite rapidly. 1st and 10 now. Ball on the 14. 2 straight first downs for the South. Temple and Lawson behind Singler. Now they drop to the eye. Coates to snap. Temple breaks wide. Gets off one tackle. Christensen finally yanks him down inside the 5-yard line.
Another excellent job of blocking down inside. Be a very nice little crease open up. We're going to look at it from the wrong side. Temple just spurts outside and then just foot race to the outside. Beats one man outside, and Casey Christensen finally pulls him down.
Randy Zimmerman coming up to add some help.
Excellent job by Matt Lawrence, sealing the man down to the inside. Heck of a block.
Matt Lawrence out of Medford at the right tackle position. Singler, quarterback.
Another great block by Lawrence. He is driving that kid off the ball.
That one's down to about the 2-yard line, and it's a 1st down for the South. It'll be 1st and goal on about the 2-yard line.
Watch Lawrence just take his man down to the inside. Just opens that hole up, presses the whole thing down. Great play. Excellent lead block by Lawson coming outside. Great play. Lawson put his hat on the man that is down.
A man down on the field. It's a North player out there tending to him, so the clock has been stopped with 7 minutes and 36 seconds left to play in the ball game, and the South team is knocking on the door of what could be a tying touchdown.
I think I might go back to Lawrence one more time.
And the player is going off the field. It's Randy Martin, number 24 from Lake Ridge, who's played a strong game for the North in the backfield. He'll go over to the sidelines, but he's walking off under his own power, so that looks to be pretty good news. So the South now 1st and goal at the 2. They have put Andy Vibora in at fullback, replacing Lawson. Vibora, 6'2", 200 pounds. But they go to Temple, and he leaps. The North rises up to meet him, and he got a yard at best.
Once again, Lawrence just crushed his man down to the inside. He is really doing a great job. They filled off the corner extremely well that time. I guess it's Vandenberg from Forest Grove that did a good job filling inside.
Mike Mackey has joined the North defense, replacing Martin, who left with the injury. Mackey out of Benson High School. Second down, a yard to go as they picked up 1 yard on the play. Singler trying to get it into the end zone, give the South the chance at the tie, or maybe the lead with a 2-point. There goes Vibora, and at 6'2", 200, it's tough to stop him when he's that close to the end zone. So Andy Vibora out of Medford High School, an all-state linebacker, and he made second-team all-state at fullback. He was all-league at both positions. He's going to the University of Oregon on a football scholarship, going to study to be a landscape architect. A little landscaping in the end zone as he took it in there from a yard out to bring the North team, or cut the North team's lead down to a point, 21-20. Now let's see what they do here. They're going to go for 2 and the lead. Singler with Vibora and Temple. They go into the eye. They give it, no, he keeps it, and he is dumped on a fine defensive play. And the North holds on to the lead. I think that was Casey Christensen.
No, that was Hall, that same kid from Grant.
Or Matt Hall, high school.
Could turn out to be a big, big play, Brad.
Could be, as the South stays a point down. 6:40 left to play in the ball game. The North. 3 men back for the North as the South prepares to kick off. They've got Worklow, Randy Zimmerman, and Larry Van Pelt deep to take the kickoff. And here it comes. Looks like Van Pelt's going to take it. He does on the far side. Gets through 2 men. Gets through 3 men. And keeps running. Finally brought down at the 50-yard line. An excellent return by Larry Van Pelt. He was stopped by Tom McGlasson of Church.
Tackles. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a good return.
Bill Gwynn for the North gives it off to Van Pelt, who we were just talking about. This time, though, there's not much daylight as he's nailed for about a yard gain. Jeff Long of South Salem made the tackle from his left tackle. 2nd and 9, the ball on the 49-yard line for the North. They're protecting a 1-point lead as the clock kicks down to 5 minutes, 40 seconds. Quick pitch to Ward Lowe. Little blocking out on this side this time. He's finally hauled down from behind by Dave Opine out of Crescent Valley. One of the few times they've been able to go wide without much containment.
The real key is Christensen on the corner. Watch number 10. He ties up the end. Just continuing to block right there. Well, he almost gets overpowered. You can see he had a good hold of the jersey, and it was a very effective way of getting around the corner.
Yardage and get some clock time down as they hold a 1-point edge, 21-20. Van Pelt, big hole through the middle. He may go. He's got 2 people finally closing in on him. For a while, it looked like he may break it. Amos Pond, one of the defenders able to pull down Larry Van Pelt. Pond out of Pendleton, but another big gainer by Larry Van Pelt.
Here goes the little horse again. Well, I tell you, he pops up inside and just keeps pulling away from people. Now he sees he can't beat the kid on the corner, so he just tucks down, said, I'm going to run over you too. What a tough little runner that kid is.
And it's another North first down. Van Pelt now 54 yards and 13 carries. Gwynn. Van Pelt low behind him.
There he goes.
Van Pelt again breaks through. Good blocking in the center of the line.
Excellent again. Sanders really doing an excellent job trapping inside. He just consistently trapped that tackle out and got great hold. One more step, and Van Pelt has been in the end zone on that play.
Gwynn to call the signals. Van Pelt again, and he churns off 3 or 4 more. He's down inside the 5.
Look like shades of sunset.
First and goal at the 4, the North. On top by a point, looking for more. Picks up in the backfield. Gwynn has to keep it, and he's throwing for a 2-yard loss.
I think they planned to hand the ball to Lowe inside, and they had a mishandle on the snap, and Gwynn just kept the ball and got what he could get.
talked it over from a defensive standpoint as they face the North, with the North having it second down, 5 yards to go, ball on the 5-yard line. Could try to spring low, quick to the outside, hoping the South is looking for Van Pelt somewhere inside. Wynn will make the move. He keeps, looked back and low, decided to keep it himself, and the South nails him and drives him back. Good defense by Matt Lawrence out of Medford.
I think your call was better, Brian.
At the 5. Big play in this game. 3 minutes left to play. North, quick pitch out to Lowe. He cuts through, and he is in for 6. He cut through 2 defenders and went straight into the end zone.
Good block on a corner by Mark Walsh. I think Corey Nash, he kicks out real well. He's kind of the key to making it, and then, of course, Lowe's great speed. He does a good job of running the football, too. Nice little corner. That's one of the few times that they've run that play and actually gotten some blocking out in front of it.
This becomes a very important extra point. The North currently with a 7-point lead. They can make it 8 if John Heiser can convert. It's up, and it's no good. It is off to the left-hand side, so the South is still within 7, and they have just under 3 minutes to try and tie up this ball. A particularly big run back, they're going to have to put it in the air.
I would certainly think so, and that has not been a real strength. We'll see what their situation is when they start this 252. Dio Olivo would figure to be possibly a little better thrower than Singler. Maybe they would go with him at quarterback in this last 252.
Singler, of course, has carried the balance of the quarterbacking duties. Mark DeLuco of Ashland was in for a few series earlier, but mostly it's been Singler out of Medford running things for the South. Whoever goes at the controls will have 2 minutes and 52 seconds to get the ball in the end zone. The North to kick it off. Heiser, the kick. Comes down on the near side where it's taken, bobbled, and by Andy
What
Cox.
a great hit by Mackey.
And
Dean. Say Mr. Cox is still feeling that one, too. He's just a little wheezy down there.
Mark DeLuco. He's got Lawson and Temple behind him. There's the give to Lawson. Cuts through a nice hole on the near side. He's finally stopped after about a 8-yard gain by John Heiser out of Mid-Midville.
Nice hole by the line. Very nice hole. They just fake it inside. Seal down inside Nugent. Now Lawson runs it pretty well, too. He breaks it outside. Another good block by Rosenberg coming down from the outside. Nice little game.
4 yards on the play, make it 2nd and 6 at the 22. South trying to get it into the end zone. We are now inside of 2 minutes. DeLevo looks to throw, and he's hauled down in the backfield as Fred Nordgren of Hillsborough came through seemingly untouched. They are choosing not to stop the clock at this point. We're now inside a minute and a half, 3rd and 13. Everything may be on the line on this play right now. DeLevo rolls out to his left, looking downfield. Man is out there, but he's covered, and it's overthrown. Good defense out there. They're down by 7. The South will punt it away. Alan Linenberger will punt this time for the South. He mishandles the snap. He can run now after a bad snap.
They can rush after the bad snap, too. That may put it away.
And Randy Martin out of Lake Ridge.
Hall.
And Matt Hall.
Hall again
out of
makes a
Grant.
big play.
Into the... So another turnover. This one benefits the North. Again, on the no-rush punt rule, as soon as the ball is mishandled by the punter, the defensive lineman can go after the ball. That's exactly what the North did. And with now inside of a minute, they have a chance to add some more points as they lead at 27-20. 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. Bill Gwynn quarterbacking. He's got Van Pelt and Zimmerman behind him. They'll go from the 4. That's Zimmerman, and he gets 6. I believe that's the first time he has carried the ball tonight, and he gets 6 points off of a 4-yard carry.
A very good job of blocking inside by both the guard and also Mark Peterson at center, and Zimmerman just waltzes in and back of him.
That moves it up to 33-20, the North on top, and they'll try for the extra point. John Heiser to kick it. It's a fake. They roll it out, and it's incomplete.
Opine breaks it up.
33-20, the North on top, and with just 39 seconds left to play, you can put this one, I believe, in the books for the North, as they lead it now 33-20 with 39 seconds left to play. The South will get their hands on the ball one more time. Mark Temple is back to take the kick, and it'll be Heiser that'll kick it off for the North. Waiting the official signal to put it in play. And there it is. 39 seconds to go, North, a 13-point lead. Temple will take it one more time. Cuts to the outside, and he is nailed out there by Mr. Matt Hall, who has played a whale of a defensive ball game for the North.
Temple takes the ball. Looks like he's going to try to break it all the way outside, just try to outrun him. And he makes it look really spectacular. Just he gets to Hall, he jumps up in the air, and it makes it look as though it were really a smack. And it was a good hit. Hall covered down the field very well. The ball was kicked off extremely well by Heiser. That may be the best kickoff of the ball game, deep and down to about the 5-yard line.
So with 17 seconds and the clock running, the South will try to score quick. DeLevo rolls, comes out to his right, or his left. Nowhere to go, and finally he's brought down.
A little late.
Clock is ticking down, and that's it. That was the last play of the ball game. 33-20, the North a winner in this over the South at Civic Stadium in the 31st annual Shrine All-Star Football Game. We'll be coming back to Civic Stadium to recap and also for the Most Valuable Player Award right after we pause for this. Again, the North a winner, 33-20.
For the booth with Coach Mouse Davis, and Mouse, a great victory for the North team, and certainly early in the ball game it looked like maybe the South might pull off this victory.
You know, I think the South did play extremely well and played pretty consistently. I think the North did have a few more guns, a little bigger, stronger, a little quicker group, but certainly the South did play well, and the turnover is obviously the name of the game. Geez, they turned the ball over both teams and gave them a lot of scoring opportunities. The South just turned it over too many times to exist with explosive backs like Larry Van Pelt and Rourke Lowe.
Welcome back, everybody, and it gives me great pleasure at this time, before we announce the awards for the most valuable player for the respective teams and the most valuable player for the game. As we all know, this game is played every year to benefit the Shriners Hospital for Crippled Children. Those of you that came tonight are doing that, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce the general manager of KOIN-TV, Mick Shafo, who has a presentation to make on behalf of the station to the hospital. Most valuable